on both platforms this morning. This morning is a bit of a reflective day for me. It always is for me on a Friday. It is Get Free Friday for those of you who are with us for the first time. It is where we share a bit of inspiration. We sort of reflect and look back on the week. We talk about things that are on our minds as we release this week and we get ready to rest on Saturday. I am meeting with the We Dare Squad on Saturday, so please reach out if you're part of the Read Dare Squad and you have not received the invite. I see, so you might want to check your email for it. Um, but hopefully, we'll have be able to check in with those of you who are part of the We Dare Squad. I also want to give a shout out to my father. Today is his birthday, um, but he is no longer in this plane of life. So we say happy heavenly birthday to my father. Um, I was thinking last night about how proud he would be of all of his children. All of us are um, doing great things with our life. I was thinking about the grandchildren that he never got a chance to meet. Um, and I was just thinking about all that and just saying to myself, wow, I know that if my dad were here today, that he would be super proud of everything that is going on. Of everything that is going on. Of, hold on one second. I am switching to my subscriber only mode here. So thank you for your patience. All right. That he will be super proud of where we are in life, what we've accomplished as his children, as young professionals, as adults, and just taking some time to reflect. I think that is important, especially as we move into the holidays. That if you have lost someone this year, that you are taking time to reflect on that person, that you are taking time to honor your feelings around that, and that you're just taking time for yourself in that regard. Excuse me, I'll be back in one moment. All right. Somebody is working from home today and they are very loud, but I would rather him be here than anywhere else. All right. So, as I was saying, sometimes you want to, um, as you go throughout this holiday and you're thinking about the people that you maybe lost this year. For me, my father has been gone since 2010, and it still feels like yesterday. And I know some people are like, really? Since 2010, and it still feels like yesterday? Yes. Um, Again, as we talked about earlier this week, I reserve the right of time. And a part of the right of time is honoring your process for grief, honoring your process of whatever you're dealing with. And for me, um, my grief definitely has, I would say, transitioned from just sadness or crying, but my grief has transitioned more to memorializing, remembering, honoring, celebrating, but I allow myself to feel, right? I allow myself the time and the experience of feeling. And so that's been a very, very impactful thing for me. that when it comes to dealing with grief and dealing with losses in your life, give yourself the opportunity and give yourself the time to experience and feel where you are. Um, and don't let anybody rush you through the process of grief. It is important for you to go through your process, to not feel rushed in it. And the people that are around you, if they don't understand that, then make sure you are creating community for yourself and being in community with people who understand the process of grief. It doesn't mean that you stop your process because you might be around people who don't understand it, but it does mean that you might have to find community with people who do understand. All right. So I wanted to share that and hopefully encourage those who may be grieving this season. I know for me, when the first few years after my father passed, I would go to grief memorial ceremonies, and I would be in a community of people who were also grieving, and that was helpful because you were amongst people who understood what you were feeling. And through that process, it helped me to decide how I would honor my father's memory going forward, what I would want to do on, the day of his passing and also the day of his birth. So I tend to look at those two days as days that I choose to reflect. Sometimes I might wear the color green as a reflection of him. Um, I do collect some things that have to do with Kermit because that was his middle name. So we had some camaraderie around Kermit the Frog. And so sometimes you might see me use Kermit in some of my memes online. And that's just me referencing the memory of my dad in those moments. So I just want to encourage you to take time to honor your process. Think about the ways in which you can remember and celebrate the people who are no longer with you, and form your own traditions around doing that. Form your own traditions around doing that. We're going to do a short lesson session today. I'm only going to read from um, the Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice Daily Motivations for African American Success. And I feel like this is two good reads. One was from yesterday, and the other one is for today. So I'm going to read both of these for today. Daryl Stingley, activist for the physically challenged, says this: the pain means there's feeling there. And the title is A Good Track Record. Olympic gold medalist Carl Lewis's first exposure to track and field began in the eighth grade. Uncoordinated and barely trained, he suffered defeat after defeat. One evening, he told his parents, both track coaches, that he was tired of losing. His father replied, "The successful person is easy to start and tough to stop." Life's pathways are chock full of obstacles only overcome by persistence. By persistence, the snail, reached the ark. By persistence, the great pyramids of Egypt were built, offering civilization a springboard to even greater knowledge. By persistence, African missionaries were able to survive long, trying periods before ever obtaining a convert. There has never been a successful man or woman who hasn't known the tough answers that only come through the hard lessons of persistence. But is there success without persistence? Yes, it's possible to achieve without persisting, but it is something like being a student who will not go to school, a soldier who will not join an army, a salesman without a customer, a sailor without a ship, a writer without a reader, a teacher without a pupil, a preacher without a prayer or a congregation, a musician without an instrument, a doctor without a patient, or a bee without a hive. If you are to succeed, you must persist. A teenager had decided to quit school, saying he was bored by his lessons. His father desperately tried to convince him to stay with it. "Son," he said, "you can't just quit. History is loaded with examples of great leaders who are remembered because they didn't quit. Martin Luther King, Booker T. Washington, George Washington Carver, and Willie Johnson didn't quit. Who? The son burst in. Who in the world is Willie Johnson? See, the father replied, you don't remember him. He quit. We only remember those who persist. And the second one, which is actually for today, the quote is by Jewel Diamond Taylor, a motivational speaker, who says, he enjoys much who is thankful for little. After entering a department store, a woman was startled when a band began to play, cameras started flashing, and a dignified executive pinned an orchid on her dress and handed her 10 crisp $1,000 bills. She was the store's millionth customer, and the owner and staff celebrated the occasion. Television cameras were focused on her, and reporters began firing questions. Tell me, a reporter shouted, just what did you come to the store for today? The woman, somehow miffed, hesitated for a minute, then grumbled, I'm on my way to the complaint department. The woman revealed how she had purchased a scarf from the same store the previous day, but got upset when the clerk failed to hand her a receipt. This poor soul is an example of one of life's real tragedies. She fails to place circumstances within their proper perspective. Reflect for a moment. Ours is a history synonymous with burden. As enslaved and later as domestics and servants, our people gathered, picked, chopped, planted, plowed, cooked, fetched, cleaned, bathed, built, dug, nursed, and sweat so that others enjoyed creature comforts that we could only imagine. Today's world, by comparison, is one of opportunity, one that our forebears could only envision and dream about. Our world should be one of gratitude. Gratitude is like a prayer, it is strength, it is love. The best way to show our gratitude is to accept the opportunities of life with joy. Think today, will you approach life with a grateful heart? When it comes to your goals, will you be easy to start and tough to stop? I hope you've enjoyed today's reading, and I hope I've said something to you that was helpful in this time and day. I hope that you have a great and wonderful Friday. And I want to encourage you to come back and join us for our Sunday dialogue. If you're a part of our YouTube audience, you can join us right here on YouTube. If you're on our IG, you can make your way to Facebook. Our page is Life Nation. We'll also be streaming there live on Sundays at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember, light is the most daring opposition to darkness, so continue to go out and be light. If you want to join us for the talk back today, you can meet us over at Instagram. At Daring Dialogues is our Instagram name. Take care otherwise, and hopefully we'll see you on Sunday. Be well and be light.